That'll get me tied over.
Yeah, especially since we're on.
Hey, we're on. You always do that.
You're welcome. Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hello. I gotta get. There we go. I wasn't all. I don't think I was as
get
ready
situated.
as what I thought.
Get yourself
I told Jordan I was
situated.
ready. I wasn't ready. My earrings are popping. I got a hot mess. I'm a hot mess. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Grease and Grace this week.
Well, there you go. Hey, my name's Jordan, in case you didn't know.
And I am Kim, as a reminder.
Just, in case this is your first time. And if it is, welcome. How are you?
We're happy you're here.
Hey, we're going to jump right into it because you were gone last week.
I was.
And we're eating, just so everybody knows, Kim's got a banana today. Blue Stanley.
I'm going to finish it.
What color is that blue?
Like periwinkle.
A periwinkle blue Stanley. Mm-hmm. A headband. She's not eating the headband. And some notes. So
I came in. So Jordan and I, we never really talk about what we're going to talk about.
No, we don't. It just kind of
goes
off the rails.
As the week progresses, I'm always like, oh, this would be an interesting topic. I bet that we could probably chat about this for a second.
Get that in there.
And so I just write it down right now. I wrote it on the back of a bank slip.
You're standing at the bank. You're like, oh, well, I don't have any money. Let me remind myself what I don't have money to do. That makes sense. Got it. Anyway, you were gone. The reason I wanted to bring it up is because where you went and with what you do is kind of like a big...
Oh, my goodness. So
we specifically do not talk. We do not have any conversations. When Kim walks in the door, I'm like, don't look at me.
This is kind of the first time. Like, even at church anymore, it's like fist bump. Hi.
I know. I feel like a super jerk. Like, every time I see you now, I'm like, I can't talk to her until like the
because
mics are on.
Because our conversation just automatically starts.
Where were we at? We were somewhere the other day, and we were, when we had like this community concert that was downtown or whatever. Mm-hmm. And you and I got into kind of like a little bit of a dialogue, and there were some other people there, and I was like, this is not good because this should be on the podcast. And we're having like this fully blown conversation.
It's like an immediate dive into just like a full on conversation every time.
And I wanted to like move people out of the way. Like I was like, hey, just start the things. And I was so... Yeah, it was one of those things where I was like, oh, I probably am. So if I'm ever a jerk around you, it's not the case. I'm just like, don't talk to me until like the mics are rolling. So anyway, you left though. You left last week. Where'd you go?
I went to New Orleans.
Your dad
Nolans.
Said,
my dad was like, it's Nolans. It's Nolans. And I was like, Dad, that's from people who have been there. Like, you can't. I don't feel
He's been there
right.
From the service.
I didn't live there.
He was on like hurricane detail and stuff like that. But anyway, he was very adamant that it is not New Orleans.
It's Nolans.
Nolans.
But I feel so northern saying it. It's Nolans.
Are you down there? You're like, hey guys, it's good to be in Nolans. And they're like, don't ever talk ever again. Don't ever say that word.
I'm pretty sure that's a quick way to get a punch to the throat.
When people so I grew up in Illinois, and people would always say Illinois.
Illinois. Josh used to say Illinois, and I would immediately like, it's Illinois.
No S.
Call it
that
with the S.
Me
so
crazy.
If you are from out of our state near Illinois. Or I say St. Louis actually, but some people say St. Louis.
St. Louis, that's it. Like that's accepted because we lived we lived on the Illinois side, but we were super close to the city, so it was St. Louis. We always we went to St. Louis, but you can say St. Louis.
Yeah,
it's totally acceptable.
It's like in Kansas. You are next to Arkansas, right? You're right next to Arkansas. I lived in Kansas for a brief moment in time. That's where I met my husband. It was wonderful. It was beautiful. And then I brought him back because it is quiet.
You brought him back.
I did. It was quiet.
Like a mail order bride.
Come on, Josh.
You'll come with me
Pack
now.
your bags. So I lived in Kansas. There's Arkansas somewhere. Geographically.
Which some people say Arkansas. Arkansas. They say it fast, like Arkansas.
There then is the Arkansas River. It's not Arkansas. It's not Arkansas. It's the Arkansas River. And I never understood it. It's like all of these weird little... Have you ever tried to pronounce like UP, Michigan town and city names?
Upper Peninsula?
Yeah. Like they're the craziest.
Like what?
No.
You're like,
I don't know.
I'm not going there.
Okay, we're gonna because it's like it. Once again, last week I think I had talked about like the Old Testament biblical names.
Oh yeah.
UP It's the exact same way.
Just saying fast and confident, and you get away with it.
Yeah,
Nobody knows
I'm
what you're
looking
talking
Upper Peninsula. So, anyways, so we went to
Nolans
and ate so much food.
So so we're gonna have to summarize this, or else we're gonna spend the whole hour talking about this.
And I'm not gonna
do that. Yeah. But you guys specifically went with some relatives for the whole purpose and intent was to eat, right? Like to culinary.
Yeah, pretty much. So
not work related.
Not work related. Originally, it was because that was when like the Food and Wine Festival was going down.
Yeah.
But then I was looking into the show, like not the shows, but the exhibits, if you will.
Culture. Let's just say that. Yeah.
And it was just like very rudimentary. Nothing that was really going to interest us, or like it would be like. Old Fashions 101. Well, like Ryan is a big whiskey guy. So like
that would be Josh's brother.
That's Josh's brother-in-law.
Your husband's brother.
Yes, yeah. Ryan is Josh's brother-in-law. Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Ryan.
And so like he knows how to make old fashions. Why are we going to go to an old fashioned? You know what I mean? Like, and then his sister Candace doesn't like whiskey. So I mean, like, I don't think Josh does either. So,
but you're the type of person that if you go to eat, like you like to eat for like extended period of times. Like you're not in and out like in a half hour or whatever.
No, I'm like soaking up the atmosphere.
Yeah.
So there were a couple restaurants where I was like watching the back of house. There was something happening with like the managers. Like I just enjoy that dynamic, and so I very closely enjoy watching it along with the food.
I 100% get it. Bethany's, both my girls were involved in it, but we had a recital at a church a couple of weeks ago, and I walked in and I'm like walking around this church, like I want to know like
you want to see it all,
all the things like their sanctuary, the way that they were set up. So I get it. I totally get it. What's the UP names?
Okay, are you ready?
Oh yeah, fire away.
I don't know that I'm going to say any of these correct.
You got to go fast and confident.
Ontonagon.
There we go. Yep, that makes sense. I like that one.
Saint Ignace.
See, you're stumbling. You got to say it fast. Saint Nope. Like
there's Menominee, which makes me think Menomina. Do 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 do. Menomina.
I didn't realize. Are those all like cities up in the UP?
Yeah. Escanaba.
Why are they all weird like that?
I don't know.
I wonder if
Eshpiming.
Are they like Native American names or what?
Yes, absolutely. Oh, Manistee. I've heard of that place, actually.
Right.
So there's just some
people up there who are listening to our podcast are like, you morons.
They're hurt right now. Oh, man.
It's called South Bend. How hard is it? What's wrong with you? They're so mad at us.
There's so many. There's a city, town, I don't know what you call it, in Hawaii that's like the longest town. I got to take these earrings out. They're like dangling. I'm struggling.
I mean,
It's like the longest name. I've never heard of it before. Yeah. I would never know how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
But I just learned about it not too long ago and was quite impressed.
Yeah,
so,
all right. So, your trip to Nolans was good.
It was really good.
Congratulations.
It was interesting. Interesting place. That place is. There really
is. It is. Your husband and I were talking about it, and he was telling me some stuff like that you guys saw and whatnot, and I'm like, I wasn't surprised at all.
It's not surprising and is surprising all at the same time because you're like, what?
People's worldviews are so messed up.
Worldviews and like where their like bar is in life is like so low, which is sad. Like it's sad to see. Yeah. But I mean, the culture there is so cool if you can like look past it.
It's like being at the concerts that we were talking about. Like if you can get past the audience, like the music is fantastic.
Yeah, music's fantastic. Food's fantastic. The history. It's such a historic town. It's so cool. But we did learn that there's a city underneath there that you can tour. I didn't know that.
Atlantis?
It might be Atlantis. I don't know. But I did get to touch an alligator.
No. Oh, we talked about that.
Yeah, I touched one. It was a big mamma jamma.
Did he touch you back?
No.
Did he have his mouth taped?
No. They were wild.
You touched a wild alligator.
I did.
You're out of your mind.
I'm dead
crazy.
serious.
Was it big?
He was like a
6-footer.
I've got photos, but I don't have them of me touching. Like
it's coming. This is the reason to follow us on social media.
Unless my brother-in-law got a picture of me touching it because I was like, "Can I touch it?" And then my phone was like over here, and I was like, it was so far away. But I mean, like, So these alligators.
What are you doing? Why are you touching a wild alligator?
Oh my goodness. So
that's a full-blown alligator.
Look, it is. So this guy, see my foot? Do you see my foot?
Are you on a boat
I was on an airboat. And so these alligators.
And dude is like, yeah, you can touch one.
Dead serious. He brought it up so that we could touch it. So this one was a huge. Sides are so big. So this one was really big. It was like a 600. He guesstimated like 600 pound.
You're nuts.
It was the coolest thing. They're like somewhat slimy, but so anyways, they're in like
I'm dumbfounded right now.
They're like in a reserve almost.
Okay.
So they're not trained, but they know when the boats come that they're gonna get marshmallows. They feed the alligators marshmallows.
Why marshmallows?
So I don't know if this is a true story.
They lied to you.
But a guy said
guides are
one time a lady fell in the water and she was wearing white and all the alligators swarmed to her.
Oh no.
And so
you're rocking a white t-shirt like, I should probably take this off. That's so bad.
So they come for marshmallows and I'll have to post this because we did not get the boat that had like the guy.
The guy. Lozana.
I gotta find this picture.
There are like guides that are like just this, like you can tell like you live here. You've lived here your whole life. This is what you do.
Yeah, this is exactly like this is what he does. I cannot find the video right now, but so there's another guy. There it is. There's another guy that feeds the alligators chicken.
Oh my word!
And then
it
jumps out of the water.
For those of you who can't see this, there's a guy. He's got his legs underneath the arms. They're not arms, feet, whatever, of the alligator. His head is legitimately almost eye to eye with him, and he is just hanging off of a boat.
Yeah.
These are not seals in the ocean. These are dinosaurs that could
there it is.
Take your face off.
Here.
Get out of here.
So this guy, his name was Rock. Okay, we learned this afterwards. And so we're watching like all of the tour boat guides and we see this dude. He's barefoot, right? He's barefoot walking down the street.
If there's a reason to have a video podcast, this would be it. This guy is legitimately taking chicken out of a bag. He's got his feet dangling in the water like little sausages and just feeding these alligators.
And it jumps up.
It jumps up like a dolphin.
And he's like tapping it on the nose. Yeah. He brings him up on his boat. So he has a cutoff t-shirt. So like sides exposed. He's got tattoos. And you just know.
Backwards hat.
So like we saw him and we're like, he's the guy. If we want to be on anybody's boat, this is the guy. We later learned his name is Rock. And I was like, of course his name is Rock. But yeah, we didn't end up going on his boat. We were across from the boat. And he brings alligators up on his boat.
Bro is just like legitimately chucking chicken at alligators like they're his pets.
Yeah.
The only way I can describe that for those who can't see it is it's legitimately like they're dolphins. He's like feeding dolphins, but they're alligators.
So that was the same alligator that I touched.
Get out of here.
It was huge.
I didn't realize. I wonder if they're like trained though. They're like, hey, we can't eat the humans because if we do, we'll lose our marshmallow.
We won't get no more marshmallows.
Listen,
way to
Larry.
be the alligator who ruined it for us.
Listen,
Dwayne.
Dwayne,
you ruined it for all of us.
Listen, Dwayne.
Idiot.
You eat one more human and this is over.
He said that they're not trained. I
That's
think
a lie. That looks like the most.
I think they're trained to some aspect.
Yeah.
Of like, they're getting food.
That looked like a full-blown like dolphin.
Consistent.
Like, yeah. I've never seen an alligator come up on somebody's legs and just be like, "Oh,
They use their tail." So apparently, alligators are actually a really lazy animal.
Yeah, but they're super fast. They're super fast though.
They are super fast.
Yeah. They just
but
never
they
do
don't.
it.
They would prefer to just find something dead than to kill. And so these animals, I think
Sounds
what
like
it is
you're basic American.
I mean,
so you're everyday American.
So alligators and everyday Americans, same
thing. You want to go out
they
tonight?
Both start with A.
Nah. What do we got in the fridge? I don't know. Sure, there's something dead we could throw in a plate.
Yeah, so they don't hunt, but I'm pretty sure that they're always full, so They probably are just like happy and content.
Good for you, though.
Yeah.
Good for you. You did it.
It was a good time.
You did it. You
Good
touched
time.
an alligator.
I've also learned I am not the personality type to recognize that there's something dangerous that I am partaking.
You're like, whatever. I guess it could take my leg off. I don't care. I got to know how it feels.
Like there.
And then you touch it. You're like, ooh.
No. Apparently, it's part of ADHD. So my sister-in-law is a psychologist. So I always get.
That's too bad that you have a psychologist as a family member.
I think she's always just like lightly analyzing everyone. And
She's
just
like watching you with a notepad. She's like, hey, it's family reunion. Go away. She's got like a legitimate like pen. She's like, Kim, how did you feel about that last endeavor?
She keeps sliding me like snacks that have like ADHD medicine.
Speaking of marshmallows.
Like, she's like, here you go, Kim. You just need to calm down.
I gave her 4.
But she was like, that's part of ADHD is like you don't recognize
Unbelievable.
the dangers. And so like I'm like, can I swim with it?
You asked if you could get in the water.
I know I did
Crocodile infested,
but
Louisiana.
like I was like, bring it up on the boat. Come on, bring it up. And everybody else was like,
no. They're like, this girl's got to go. You're like, don't worry, I podcast. I need this for my podcast.
It's just fascinating. It's
funny.
And they just all swim up to the boat.
What's a boat ride? What are we talking cost wise?
Ours was $90
a person.
$90 a person, but they pick you up. They pick you up from your spot. So, and then like drive you there, and it's for like the gas. I mean,
all day. How long? How long we talking? Hour?
About a 3 hour.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah. So I mean, like it's not a terrible.
90 divided by
That's
3 is
$30. Very simple, Jordan. Mathematicas. So
it's part of doing it. It's
was
part of ADHD is you just don't know how to do math. I don't do math good.
Horrible at math.
It's 90 divided by 3. Really? Okay.
Yeah. So how was your week? It's been busy.
My week was busy. Saturday ran half marathon with.
By the way, you last episode said I'm not a runner, and then
Not
was
a
like,
runner.
watch me run this half marathon. I'm gonna check in every hour. And
I did.
I showed that to Josh, and I was like,
He just said he's not a runner.
fool says he is not a runner.
It's
I'm
true.
not checking in a half marathon every mile.
Checking in at all. I'm checking out.
Face down in the side of the path.
My sister-in-laws, both of them, one of them ran a 10K and one of them ran a half marathon. They asked me if I wanted to do it on like a Monday. They're like, hey, do you want to do this? And I was like, not really.
That's
and
so
then I was
gross.
like, all right, I'll do it. So I was like, whatever. So that was Monday. I signed up for it. Tuesday, I started thinking weird thoughts, also part of ADHD. And I was like, I wonder if I could do that with a 20-pound vest on. So sure enough.
Goodness,
like,
you just did it.
yeah,
No training.
No training. Like I'm always like I work out every day.
I know, and
So-
you run. So I mean,
yeah.
it's not.
So I'm like, I always say like I'm 5K ready, but like there was so much stuff. So like I get out of the car, whatever, get ready. Wednesday I started kind of like mentally preparing for it because I knew it was gonna hurt a little bit, and like I take out like and there's 2 reasons why I want to do it. One was I've been reading a lot of how people like carry like weight, like mental weight. So like that they can't take off. Like mental health is huge right now in our culture, society, or whatever. So like there's a lot of people who just like struggle with that. And then the other thing is like I've always resonated with people. I've never been heavy, but I just know the struggle is real for people to like get weight off and stuff like that. So so I was like, you know what? Like let's level the playing field. Let's like I'll throw my vest on, because then that makes it tough for me and like whatever. And so we're at the start line or whatever, and I just like all these people for 5Ks. They run like before the race. I'm like, what do you? Don't do that. You didn't know that? Yeah.
What?
Oh yeah, they'll like warm up and all this other stuff.
5K warm up?
Yeah, like some people run a 5K before the 5K.
Why?
I don't know. Is it
because like you're in the like your muscles then are like warmed up so you don't have to deal with the pain?
I guess. Yeah, they're like.
Or are you punishing yourself?
Yeah, me. I'm like, nah, no. Like we got 13 to go. Like we're not doing 1. Like let's not do that. So anyway, so like. They're like, everybody come to the start race or whatever. It's a really small race. It was in my wife's hometown. And so I walk out to the middle. I throw my vest on. And people were just like moved out of the way. Like, what is happening right now?
Have you ever seen Heavyweights?
Yeah.
I think I said that to you.
Yeah.
Ben Stiller.
That's
like,
okay. That's fair. I kind of look like Ben Stiller too. So.
I know. That's exactly like everybody's watching you. Like you watch Ben Stiller in that scene. If you have not seen Heavyweights, it's an old Disney movie.
And Ben Stiller's on something. He is on a lot of cocaine.
He's on life.
Yeah. There's a lot going on
and
there.
It's like a camp for like heavyweight kids and they're trying. It's a fat camp, and they're trying to lose weight. Ben
Those
Stiller
really existed in the 90s. Did you know that?
I did.
They
I
still
used
exist,
to
I think.
watch what, like not watch. I didn't.
You're like, I never went, but I went to watch. I fed those kids some marshmallows.
Let's give them motivation.
Throwing marshmallows at little kids.
There was a show on, I think, Nickelodeon that was like a fat camp. Documentary.
What was that called? Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
There was like bug juice. Camping shows were like a thing. There was like a circus smirkus, which was circus camp.
Oh, that's gonna drive me nuts with the one that was on Nickelodeon. Anyway, go
but
ahead.
Yeah, and so Heavyweights is just a fat camp, and Ben Stiller plays this movie. Like wildly in shape.
And he's like,
kind of Zoolander
in shape. Everybody's gonna get fit,
kind of Zoolander-esque.
And then they end up like kidnapping him, and like halfway through, or whatever the case is.
I mean, it's a great movie. My kids have no interest in it. We watched it.
Oh, I watched all the old
ones.
Little Giants, Heavyweights.
Yeah.
What else have we watched?
Those were like early Disney originals. Mm-hmm. But anyways, people looked at you like.
So they're kind of like, what's going on here? Like, because like my vest, there's two 10-pound plates, one in the front, one in the back, but they're thin plates, so like I think people just was like, what is this mercenary doing here? Because it's a tactical vest, so it has like Molly on it and all this other stuff. And if those of you who have no idea,
I was thinking of like a ski vest.
Oh no.
I was like, that's hot.
like the puffy vest.
Once again, a marshmallow.
You look warm.
Follow the marshmallow, kids.
You know how hot it is today, right there, guy? So anyway, like the gun goes off or whatever, we start, and I'm like, everybody just like flies, you know. So I'm like, there we go. So about mile, I didn't walk it at all, which was kind of like a like a goal, and then to finish it obviously was a goal too. But like the last couple of miles were fantastic, because there's where all the people are at who like are doing the work, you know, like they've trained like months, and in the kitchen, outside the kitchen, and then they also have just gotten to the point where like this is a big milestone for them. So I watched so many people cross finish line in front of me, and I was just like, I was cheering them on. I'm like, you got it, yeah. Rocky themes in my ears.
Is that it?
Yeah. And it was cool because like so I come up like at the end, and at the last couple of miles, like I'm like this might have been a mistake. And then my kids are there, and they're like, Dad. I'm like, oh, you guys are here.
That's sweet.
But the weirdest part is when you get done with something like that, like doing something really big, like nobody knows except you of how hard something was. So it's like, you just, you know, like you go back like, hey, what do you want to do for lunch? I'm like, I don't, like, I feel like you should tell me, you know what I mean? Like there's no, it's just a weird thing.
I think it was a 10K. Like I went from nothing to a 10K.
Yeah.
And so it was before Josh and it was a year after Josh and I got married. And I ran a 10K, and it was the same experience.
Yeah, you get done, and you're like,
you get done,
okay.
and then you're like,
now what?
So like the rest of my day was normal. Although I'm like,
we went to an open house. Yeah. We went to an open house and everything. Like the whole day.
Nobody knows.
And like nobody cares. So it's like, you know, you're sitting there thinking about it. You're like, you want to know what I did today? And you can't do that because that's super prideful.
That is.
Like, you got to like kind of keep it to yourself.
What did you do today? I ran a 10K. I ran a half marathon.
You talk to people and they're like, oh man, my legs hurt a little bit. I'm like, oh yeah, you think?
Do you want to know why mine hurt?
Yeah. Ask me. You're asking leading questions like, what's going on? But you know, it's funny. Like I've always been like that since I was a kid. I like to like look back at my work. Like I don't know if you do that like in the kitchen. Like you get done with something. Even when I was a kid, I would like clean my room, and then I would just sit there and stare at it, and I'd be like, "Look what I did." You know what I mean? And then people would come in and be like, "Hey, Jordan, you want to go to dinner?" And I'm like, "What?
What is dinner?"
Like,
look at how clean my room is.
Hello. You know, so I do it like all the time. I mean, like even like little things, like we're sitting in a room right now with the TV's hung up. Like I hung up that TV. I sat here probably at least a good 5 minutes and was like, "That looks good. I did a good job on that." You know, and it's not prideful. Maybe it is a prideful thing. I don't know. But there's some things where I'm just like. I've tried to identify that with other people now too, to like see like good job, you did really good. And I'm probably doing it just internally so they'll say it to me, but whatever, it is what it is. It's all good. So that was my weekend. Yeah, I mean
that's good.
Well, the funny thing was so the race was Saturday. Friday we ended up like camping. My in-laws have a little spot at a lake, and We weren't going to do that. We were going to stay at their house. And then we realized like the camper was a thing, which is really fun.
Was a thing?
Well, like it was an option for us to stay there. So, because nobody else was going to be there. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So it was kind of like cool. Like it was super chill, super laid back weekend. And then, but that's
happy.
That was
and then we had, our town had the parade.
Oh yeah. So that's going on this week.
That was actually, so nobody who lives in our town or who lives outside of our town really is going to know much about it. But this was a decent parade this year.
Probably because of the weather.
It was the weather, but then also like floats. Floats are not a thing.
Okay, we were talking about. Did we talk about this? Tell me you talked about this with somebody else, because if you did it, we had this conversation. We need to have it again.
We had this conversation.
There is no floats anymore.
I don't know if we talked about this or not. No, floats are not a thing. And so this year,
it's about to go down. You're about to hear our.
This year was like the first year in a while
that you saw floats.
That I saw. Yeah, there were some floats because you didn't walk.
Okay, but they're not
see it go by?
Floats anymore. Like.
There were a few.
Yeah, I don't know if you grew up in like a town. Well, you grew up here. No,
I did.
Yeah, you did grow up here.
Yeah.
So like floats used to be like
floats,
paper mache.
Yeah.
Is that the right word?
Yes.
Yeah. Like intricate. You worked for months on this float, and that's gone.
But I think it's slowly coming back because there were floats. Like I can attest to like a handful of them.
There were trailers that had some sort of decoration on them.
Yes.
But a full-blown themed out
float.
It's been years since I've seen one.
I don't know if we've ever had that. I think it's just been trailers.
Like I remember churches, because we did this. We had you're going to get a kick out of this. So where I'm from, we had the Prime Beef Festival.
Prime Beef Festival.
Beef. B-E-E-F.
Tell me you live in America.
Midwest America at that. So this is the best part, though. So the Prime Beef Festival had the beef queen. So like, if you won the like,
is this like is this the inspirational dress for Lady Gaga's meat dress that she wore at like the gala? If you were the meat queen,
there was I don't know if they do it anymore. I would go home for this. Like I would 100% go home for this. But they used to do this thing where they would grease up pigs. And
wrestle them?
And you'd have to catch them. And depending on your age, depended on like the size of the pig that you got. It was, Kim.
The same face that you were giving me while I was talking about the alligators.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you.
There was like little kids, like preschool, kindergarten, like
wrestling oiled up pigs,
oiled up like piglets, like little tiny ones, and they had like these little arenas, and they would let it go, and he was all greased up, like this pig was all greased up, and if you caught it, you got like a prize.
I wouldn't be able to watch that. I'd feel so bad for the pig, not the kid.
It was so fun. And the demolition derbies. Did they ever do demolition derbies here?
I've never seen a demolition derby, but I think that they have them. I just don't think that we partook in them.
You're missing out.
I've seen the one on Cars. Is it like that?
It's not even close. So yeah, you had the pigs, you had the demolition derby, you had the beef queen, which is a real thing. Which
I don't like the name
of that. It's like weird, right?
That's weird.
Oh, this is, Carol, she's the beef queen. And I was like, I don't think you could call her that.
That's like a derogatory name, I feel like.
Okay.
That makes me feel like,
well, anyway, and then on the festival, like we had the Prime Beef Festival parade, right?
Like this year's beef queen.
It's the beef queen would ride in the back of a Corvette, I think. Yeah. There was always like Corvettes, which there still are today. Like those are still it. But like I've even noticed that like yesterday, I know it wasn't yesterday when you guys were listening, but like yesterday for us, even like homecoming king, homecoming queen, prom king, prom queen, like they're not around any. Like nobody sits on the back of the cars. Nobody like waves anymore. Those things are kind of like past.
Kind of not like prom queen. There was something. There were two.
Were there? Did you see them?
Two, maybe more. I don't know.
It's just sad. Well, anyway, and where I grew up, the parade. Every church would. This is back when VBS, Vacation Bible Schools, were really big. Like every church would have their theme for the float.
That would make sense.
Mm-hmm. So like it was, but they worked for months on it.
Yeah.
Nothing.
That's like what is it? Is it the Rose Bowl parade? They work year round. Mm-hmm. Did you know that every single float of those is made out of recyclable or like compostable material?
Compostable? Is that a word? I think it is. Sure. I think you used that correctly. Anyway, so it doesn't go to like trash.
It doesn't go to trash. It has to be made out of.
That's kind of cool. I know they use real roses. Like
they use real roses, but like anything and everything they can use. I mean, like you can use orange peels. I learned that a couple years ago, and I was like, I bet that smells so good
or bad.
Where is the Rose Bowl?
Ooh, I was gonna say Ohio, but I
feel like it's
anyway. Like yesterday, and this is nothing against like our parade or anything like that. It's just like
Rose Bowl Stadium is in California. So.
Oh, I was way off. So like. I guess I just missed that, and maybe like they need to bring back like a prize or something for like the best float.
I think
or whatever.
there is.
Is there?
So the parade now versus the parade back in the 50s, basically the town now versus the town back in like the 1950s are almost two completely different towns.
Like the town that we live in.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Back then, and I think they tried to bring it back last year. I don't know what happened.
But it poured down rain.
Was it last year?
Last year was so terrible. It was a monsoon.
It was during like the week of the parade or the week of the fair. So I don't know if it was on parade day, but they would do like bed races.
Oh yeah. And that's Oktoberfest. You're in Oktoberfest. You're in a totally different time.
So, but like I think we don't have an Oktoberfest parade, right?
We don't have a parade.
We should.
I don't know, but I know they tried to bring that back a couple of years. A couple of years ago. Anyway, back to this parade because like that was the first sad thing was like there's no like floats and like what we got to bring back the floats.
I agree.
But people don't have time. That's a thing. Like that's a time thing. They'd be like, when are you going to get 10, 15, 20 people together to make like a trailer look amazing for a small town America. I don't know.
I feel like if you employed the art department
of
schools
or something like that,
then you could be like,
that'd be kind of cool.
This float is sponsored by so-and-so high school art department. Yeah. That's their like project.
Or what about like the PR departments in like RV factories and stuff like that?
Yeah. I mean like there's people, but I remember a couple years ago. This is the first year, too, that I actually got to watch. So it might be different to me because I haven't watched because I was working for the last time. But I remember, I remember watching just like trucks drive by with signs and that like vinyl signs. And I don't know if that was because after COVID, like everybody was just kind of tapped out. But I noticed there was more this year. Yeah. I had a really good time at it. Like it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
And
I just don't know where these people come from. I know 70% of our community, and every year for the fair I'm like, who are you?
I've never seen
you before in my whole entire life. Yeah. Super weird.
But I could honestly say that about, and it's not to like down anybody. I could say that when we have like baptism Sundays and people come up on stage
Who's that guy?
Like, I've been here for 2 years. And I'm like, no, you haven't. Who are you talking to?
They're giving their testimony. They're like, so I've gone here my whole life. You're like, wait a second. Hold on
I've never seen this person in my life.
Well, to be fair, you do sit up front.
I do sit up front to try and like, because otherwise I'm not paying any attention.
Yeah.
So like I have to sit.
You're going to be totally distracted. Throw that man a marshmallow. Give him something to eat. He looks tired.
But yeah, I mean, so it's the exact same experience of like, I have never seen you in my life. How are there this many people in the town? I know that they come from like other surrounding areas as well, but
legitimately like in the so this morning, because the parade the fair technically started last night. It starts at the end of every parade. So as soon as the parade's over, like the fair starts.
Did you go to the fair?
Hold on. So the first, like it never fails. Every year I've done this. My prayer journal is littered with, please don't let any of these rides break. Please don't let, it gets more and more sketchy.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because I get older. Like, are you going to take your kids?
Yes.
Oh, man. I put my kids on there, like, sure, go ahead, have fun. And I'm going, whoa, this thing came in on a truck.
Yeah, I agree very much so. I've seen, like, some rides gone wrong.
Don't do that. You can't do that this time of year. You have to like just full faith. Like, here we go.
Like, there was one that tossed somebody. They survived somehow.
I know.
Like, I don't know.
That's not okay.
There's safety, like, inspections.
Is there?
Well, I think they have to pass anywhere has to pass a safety inspection, but I don't know if, like, the safety inspector is, like, walking around.
But
He's
did
a
the safety
blind
inspector
guy.
look at
it's
it
actually
like...
Ray Charles.
That looks great.
That's his new job.
He feels around on the bolt, or whatever. He's like, oh, as long as it's not loose, you're good, or whatever. They're placing his hand on something. he's like, oh man, it's so bad. Like, I just look at it and I go, oh, I don't know. Every year my kids are like, Dad, we gotta go to our tickets and blah blah. I'm like, I think we should pray about this. I don't think this.
Yeah, I watch the rides closely as well because but I mean, also, I still let them go.
Which, I mean, you like.
It's just like, oh.
It is cross your fingers, like pray, like every. Well, and
most of the people who are like operating these rides aren't from this country.
And they don't care.
They don't care. Actually, they're not from our country. So, like, they're all on metric systems. So, like, they're like an inch. It's close.
Why don't you guys have yards here? Everything's in miles. What's happening there? I talked to a guy. This is 2 years ago. And I said, "Hey man, like, because he was a foreigner. I was like, how's this work?" He's like, I feed my entire family for the year based off like 3 months. Yeah. So like he comes to America. He goes like on this like bank. Yeah, he goes on this tour. Yeah, and he's like and wearing like a onesie the whole time, and then he's like. Whoop, and then he goes back, and he legitimately, I said, well, how big's your family? I'm thinking like family of 4. He's like, like 14. And I'm like, well, what? And he's like, oh yeah. He's like, insane. Your dollar is crazy here. So he's like, I just come, we save up all the money. He's like, we don't have to like buy anything. And he's like, and then we go home. Yeah. And I'm like, whoa. I
used to have a lot of the guys who would run the carnival would come into the coffee shop. Yeah. And so there was one, I don't even remember his name, but he was a photographer. And I followed him for a little bit on Instagram. He like cool,
legitimate guy,
cool kid.
Yeah.
And
we forget these people are real humans.
They are. They're real life. Have a mom and dad, some siblings, an animal here and there.
You're a real person. Get out of here.
But it was the exact same thing. Like because I would ask him, and he was like, "They work. I mean, it's
hard. It's all day.
Work. It's all day. Yeah. I don't know if they get a day off
from
the week."
Everybody's different, I'm sure, but like I think they go from like midnight to like they get done at like midnight and they're back in at like I want to say like 10 or 11 o'clock the next morning.
Yeah, but like from setup to teardown, I think there's one day where they don't have to run rides, they can just put them up, tear them down, and so they like that's when they go and explore and like they try and find coffee shops and stuff like that to just shop around. But yeah, he crazy. He said like he makes so much money and you can't match it over there, and so then for the rest of the year he kind of coasts, and I'm like, man, what is that like? So
it's like your guys that were on the boat, like they have a season, right? Like they just like are grinding, and then all of a sudden it's like, we're done. Like, whatever. I guess. A hard life though, because you're off and then on, and then I couldn't do it. So yeah, and you rolled in here though, not to do a hard turn. You rolled in here with like a piece of paper.
I did,
like a bank statement. Like what is on? I want to make sure we get to this before.
I just learned this today, man, and I got to show you a video because I was like, this isn't real. There's no way that this is real. Where did I put this? Cedar Point's got an issue.
Uh-oh. Cedar Point's still around?
Cedar Point is still
around.
Talk
about sketchy
They just
rides.
opened the dragster. It was open for 3 hours. They're not doing so hot.
It was open for 3 hours?
Yeah, so you know the dragster.
Then what happened?
Are you a roller coaster guy?
Used to be. I haven't gone on one in so long, I don't even know if I could do them still.
Oh, I love roller coasters.
Even after having kids?
Yeah. I'm so glad that both of my kids like roller coasters. Okay. Because I was like, I'm destined to have one kid who's not going to like it.
You on a roller coaster, like I want to say I would be on that roller coaster, but I feel like I'd be deaf by the time I'm done because you'd be yelling in my ear the whole time.
No, I kind of like it builds up and I'm like, whoa! And then I go back down. So Cedar Point, for anybody who doesn't know, do you see this?
That's a camel running. It's real happened this year? This is
like
this
yesterday.
Year. No. So for those of you who don't know, Kim hands me your phone. There is an image of a guy. I don't even know. I gotta describe it. Okay, so there's a guy. He's in one of those little rascals that run around Walmart. He's sitting there. There's 4 people around him. He's not moving at all. I just want to make nobody's moving this guy out of the way. As a matter of fact, the people who are behind him have moved. He has not moved. And there is a full-blown camel.
Full-grown.
Full size.
There's 2, aren't there?
I only see one.
Oh, so 2 camels.
But this camel is legitimately running around and he's kicking his feet. And the dude is just like
he's not the dude in a wheelchair.
Yeah, but he's not moving at all.
It's like the bag it up, Terry. Bag it up, Terry. What you doing? What you doing, Terry? Which, if you have not seen that video, man, you need to watch that.
Everybody's freaking out except there's this guy in the rascal. He could care less.
He's like, just take me. Just take me.
The best part is the caption says somebody's getting fired.
So this takes place at Cedar Point. If you don't know Cedar Point, it is an amusement park.
Yeah.
Roller Coaster Central. There's just roller coasters. So why is there a guy in a wheelchair at Cedar Point? I just never thought about that.
They pick him up and put him in the car. You're going to have a lot of fun. He's like, I don't think I want to do this. You're like, nah, it's fine. Terry got no legs.
What you doing, Terry? Oh, no. That's such a great video.
What
Timeless.
is going on?
Did you know
Someone's
there's camels?
fired.
Full-grown
Well,
camels?
yeah, because they have like petting zoos and stuff like that there.
Where?
Oh, at Cedar Point. You didn't know that?
Of course, somebody who doesn't like roller coasters would know
You're
that.
like, listen, I'm on the roller coasters. I'm not interested in petting your pet camel. Like, it's not gonna...
That's why the camels escaped. They're like, I gotta see people. There's nothing. Ain't nobody coming to see me except for Jordan Muck.
I met a real camel in Israel one time. It was kind of interesting, but anyway.
Was it kicking at you?
No, he was not. He was actually super nice. They try to eat you. Like, yeah.
Why?
What? I don't like. They just like horses. They kind of like the gnaw on things.
Did you ride? Have you ever ridden a camel?
Yeah,
right
it's uncomfortable.
It's a weird. Did you know that that's where they hold all of their water?
Yeah, so you're just sitting on top of a water tank.
In between 2 water tanks.
That camel's mad though. That camel at Cedar Point's not having a good day.
I didn't.
How do you get him back? There's no guards around there at all.
I know. I don't know. Like that's like the 4th video that I've seen, and they're just like out.
Somebody's getting fired.
Somebody's getting fired. So I saw that and I was like, I need to show Jordan this, and then it needs to be a part of our conversation today.
So that reminds me of like, you know how in the past we've talked about like jobs that like nobody wants and you do like, you know, whatever the case is. That's the kid that
camel tamer.
That's the kid that quits. He's like, that's it. I'm done. Lets the camel go. And he's like, see ya.
If you're the camel keeper from Cedar Point, we need to talk.
Call me. Call me. Email me.
Call
whatever
us,
you
Grace
need.
and Grace Pod at gmail.com.
We want to talk to you. So
rate,
there
review,
I was.
Rate, review, and subscribe to get us big enough for Camel Keeper at
That's
Cedar
all we
Point.
care about. We'll stop podcasting as soon as we get him on the Can you imagine?
I don't know how they get out. I don't know how you catch them. How doesn't it? Is it a trank gun?
You just got real sad. This guy comes out full blown with a weighted vest and a gun. He's like,
weirdly enough, it says Muck on it, just like yours. Where'd this guy come from?
He's sweating profusely. I just got done running a half marathon. I'm about to shoot myself.
There's some
a
camels
camel.
on the loose.
But keep in mind, Ohio and our state are kind of far away from each other. So if I made it to Ohio on a weighted vest, I'd be super excited about that.
That'd be exciting. Yeah,
Man. Why can't you just stick? Okay, here's the deal. Why can't you just stick to roller coasters? Like, why you gotta start throwing wild animals in the mix? Like,
they have a weird moment too, where all of a sudden, like, you're in like a
amusement parks do this. Like, they're kind of like,
it's
hey,
strange.
are you bored?
Which I guess people who are pregnant,
Man,
they need something to do. I don't know.
Or guys and rascals that can't get around that need. Like,
I didn't know that was the name of them.
Did you even see it? I could
Yeah.
see. Oh, it's a good deal. Because I was like,
Yeah.
I
No, I
break
knew
that to you.
that was because it was the backing up Terry all.
Oh
all
man.
back, put it in reverse. So I needed to show you that. And
That's proof though. That's proof though. Hold your second one. That's proof that we should not be messing around with wild animals like crocodiles, feeding them marshmallows. Like and then things go south.
Things go horribly wrong. Have you seen Jurassic Park?
Exactly. Yes, that is what I'm saying. Have you seen like? Then we wonder. We're like, I heard this the other day. This is so funny. This is how life comes full circle.
Oh.
John Crist in his 2022 special. John Crist is a comedian. He's a Christian comedian.
I didn't think his name was John. I've seen him live.
Yeah, John Crist. So he said, he's like, I think it was him that said this. He's like, why do we shoot the animal? He was telling a story about like a kid that like fell in the gorilla cage or whatever, and they shot the gorilla. He's like, that's like if you're like,
what was that name?
I don't know,
like Zimbahu or something.
Yeah.
No,
he's
that's
like,
right.
that's like you're at your job and like a wild Kruger comes in and just like rampages it, and they shoot you. Like, no.
That's so accurate.
It's
I've
true.
never thought about it. I do always feel bad because like it might have been the gorilla.
Yeah.
What?
Say it fast and confident, and you'll get it.
Harimbo. It was that was the name of the gorilla.
I know Coco's the one that spoke sign language, but anyway, yeah. You don't remember Coco? No. Coco's dead. R.I.P. Coco.
Okay, so
sure. Yeah, okay.
We took a moment of silence for Coco. But like that like ripped the country apart because like they were like, but he's doing his job.
Exactly.
And so
he's sitting there. This is exactly what John's argument was. And people were laughing at it. And I was like, no, that's a valid thing.
Makes so much sense.
If I brought a monkey into church, right? And I'm just like, hey, this is my monkey, whatever the case is. Like, he's okay. You know, he is like a violent predator, by the way, because most monkeys are. Like, and he bites somebody, people will be like, Jordan. Like, what's... like, let's shoot. No, you brought a monkey. You brought a wild animal into the situation.
There have been some attacks.
It's like the tiger stuff, that stupid Tiger King thing that was popular. Yeah. A couple and people are like, well, those tigers were super nice. They're tigers.
I know. I could never. There's like still people. You can see videos of people who are like just chilling.
Yeah.
Like, and the tiger is like. Like a cat, like rubbing up next to, and I'm like, are you witnessing the fangs?
You're the one that touched the crocodile, just FYI.
Okay, but I touched the back of it. It's not like I was like, come here, little
You
man.
wanted to get in the water and swim with him.
I did, but I didn't because I know what would happen, and I'm smart enough to avoid said alligator attack. Because at that point, so this is how I live my life, and Josh is the exact same way. I'm pretty sure that Candace and Ryan would be the same way. Like, even if I got my leg bit off, I would be like, I deserved it. I was an idiot. Coming. I can't even be mad because I wouldn't want to kill the animal because I'm like, but I swerve to like miss woolly worms on the road.
Oh, that's fair.
And so like, don't hurt animals.
You're like, I love you guys.
Yeah,
Why'd you bite my leg off?
I'm not like part of PETA or anything where I'm like throwing fake animal blood on people, but.
It's like the kid that went to the zoo and he stole the penguin. Did you ever hear about that?
What?
One? Yeah.
A kid stole a penguin?
Yeah,
that's like everybody's dream.
He had a backpack and he threw the penguin in his backpack, and like he's getting a bath at night, and his mom could like hear something. And he's like, "What?" She's like, "What is going on?" So she goes, and sure enough,
this is not a real story.
Oh, it's a real story. You have to look it up. Google it. He's in the bathtub with the penguin. And she's like, so she calls everybody. She calls 911, and 911's like, what do you do? Like. And then finally, like, the zoo was like, it got back to the zoo somehow or whatever. And
I would be that person though, who would like steal a penguin.
They code Reddit it, like they code Reddit it to like their house and pick the penguin up, and like it was a big like ordeal or whatever. But again, wild animal. Like,
how old was the kid?
A little kid. It was like he was on like a field trip or something like that. Here's my other question: how'd you do that, bud? Who's not watching?
I know that's a very impressive. A, how did you get access to this penguin? B, how did you get it in a backpack?
And you got it home in the bathtub.
Because penguins are not small.
No,
like they're not tiny beings. How did all of that happen? And literally everybody was like, that's fine. Maybe they thought it was a stuffed animal. I don't really know. But yeah, a lot of people like have tigers, like chimpanzees in their house. Yeah. And that's so not copacetic. Like, I don't even know.
This is 2015, by the way. Boy slipped under a barrier surrounding the penguin enclosure, simply picked up the penguin, wrapped it in a beach towel before putting it in his backpack. The family returned to their car soon after and drove into the first available ferry from to their home. It's a real thing. Look it up.
What was the penguin doing that entire time?
That's my question. Like, what? Like, that poor penguin is like, I took a wrong turn.
It's like, what is it, Madagascar, where they're trying to escape? He's like, I did that. His friends dared him, and he was like, yeah.
Penguin's
that's
like,
it.
That marshmallow had something in it because I'm tripping out. Like,
this is not where I normally live.
This is not where I'm supposed to be right now. All right. Anyway, what's your second thing?
My second thing was, and this is I don't even know how much more time we have. We might not have enough time.
Oh, we'll get it. We'll land the plane with it.
Okay. That's great. So I took a personality quiz.
Oh,
I had to take one for work.
Oh, yeah. Which one did you take?
DISC.
Okay. Yeah. I've taken all of them.
So then it like led me into like Enneagram, which I've tried to like, I've taken the Enneagram test.
There are
before.
people out there that this is a disclaimer.
Live life according.
Well, they do, but there's some people that are like, the Enneagram is like satanic and all that stuff. And I'm like, because there's symbolism that's associated with or whatever. Anyway, we do not either affirm or deny like any of this stuff. So just, carry on.
Yeah. It just like this one. It was for work. I don't know why.
I do like the DISC test. Would you end up?
I'm like dead center I.
Yeah.
And it just like explained everything. And I was like, this is totally my personality.
Yeah.
And so now I want to have Josh take it.
Yeah. Have you ever taken like the Myers-Briggs?
I think so. There was a moment where like I took a bunch of like random tests for just because. And like it was just interesting. Like my mom took it. My brothers took it just to like figure out where we were. And like. It's just a fascinating.
You're an I in the
I'm
DISC test?
an I.
Yeah, so like outgoing, enthusiastic, optimistic, high-spirited, lively. Yeah, I can see that totally.
Have you taken it? What are you?
It has been a long time since I took that. We had to take a bunch of them a long time ago. I make my whole family take the Myers-Briggs every year. So,
every year?
Mm-hmm. And then, not the Myers-Briggs, the love language. Like one.
That one changes.
Yeah. We take that every year. So Myers-Briggs, I can't remember like.
I think I took that one. Now I'm looking.
Myers-Briggs test.
Isn't that Enneagram?
No, the Enneagram's the numbers. So the Enneagram's all like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have like a back or whatever the case is.
I know
that one.
Oh, yeah, I was ENFP.
I am an. Let's see. I had to pull them up. I am an E. You're an. Wait, you're a what?
ENFP.
All right, I was gonna say there's no way you're an I. I think I am an ENFJ. So caring, enthusiastic, idealistic, organized for sure, diplomatic, responsible, skilled communicators. And then what were you?
I am ENFP. So enthusiastic, creative, spontaneous, optimistic, supportive, playful.
Yep, we're looking at the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Here's the thing about personality tests, like just because I give them, especially to like people who like marriage counseling, stuff like that, they're good indicators, but there's a lot of people like wrap their identity up in it.
Oh yeah.
Because they're like, I'm an ENFJ, and you're like, wait, hold on a second, you're
but you have other attributes.
You're Barb. Like, let's not forget that. Like, I hate that.
I've met a couple people who live by it. It's interesting. It's an interesting tool for anybody that you're working with.
Why did your job want you to take it?
We'll find out.
Oh,
I think we have a meeting. I think it's just to see like who works well together, but none of us work we work adjacent to each other.
Oh, gotcha.
Very rarely do we work together.
Yeah.
Like we all have our own things going on, and so there's one girl, her name's Sam, and her and I are probably we do a lot of stuff, like team up and do a lot of stuff together because she works for the front of house and I work for the back of house, and then together we've got a whole entire restaurant. She's wonderful. She's a powerhouse. Amazing. So I don't know
like
what it's
everybody in the thing has to take it?
Within, I think, our team.
Huh.
I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I have a meeting next week about it. So
my favorite test that I've taken so far is
what Barbie would you be on BuzzFeed?
Yeah, I'm a Ken doll. So there was only one option there.
No, there's another one. There's another dude.
Is
Paul?
No, not
Paul.
when I was around. Not when I was growing up.
Paul. I'm pretty sure because the Barbie movie, like, makes fun of him. Paul the Barbie.
Really? He's like a real deal, huh?
Yeah.
That's interesting. No,
I don't know if that's right.
Patrick Lencioni. Do you know who that is?
That sounds very familiar.
So Patrick Lencioni wrote a book. He's got like 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, but he also has a book called Working Genius, and it's the 6 types of working genius. That has been so good. So essentially, like it's geared. Oh, there's another one.
Alan the Barbie.
Yeah. So the 6 types of the working genius are like the gears. So we did this with our team. There's like a beginning gear and an ending gear, and then there's people like in the middle, and it's like how you get projects done. So like, yeah, I think that one actually, the book itself is worthless because it's a whole story of the book, and then the last like 10 pages like explains like what it is, and then there's like a test to it. Just read it for the last 10 pages. But but
I'm sure he's like, thanks, Jordan, if he ever hears.
Yeah, like so our team alive? Yeah, Patrick's alive. Hi, Patrick. Like, so I'm like a starter and a finisher. Like, I love seeing like projects start. I love seeing projects finish.
Yeah.
But like, there's galvanizers in the middle, and like our children's director and our associate, they're like middle gears. So like, if you ever wonder like why you work really well, or like if you get to people and you're going like, man, I feel like there's tension or whatever here for whatever reason, you're probably sharing the same gear, and like the person's not doing it.
That's fascinating.
It's so good. We walked through it last year, I think, as a team, and it's been phenomenal. Because even now, like people look at it, because you don't look at it and be like, "Well, I'm introverted, so I don't like talking to people." No, it's like, hey, like I'm an idea guy, and so like look behind me.
There's so many people who have so many different things. Like I saw, I don't know, it was like a video of somebody who was just like putting labels on boxes for their job, like in Target.
And some people love that.
And they loved it. And I was like, I think I would last maybe 30 seconds. And then I would be like, oh, what's this over here? Like, I would not. Yeah. I'm a good starter.
Yeah. Yeah. I like to start.
I like the finished product.
I'm a good starter. And I'm done with that sentence.
I like the finished product.
Yeah.
But sometimes it takes me, I go through some roads to get to where I'm at.
You can go now like online and take any personality test. And I always tell people like it's a good start to just kind of figure out like who you are and how you're wired. But if you're going to take a personality test, this is just my own professional like unsolicited opinion. Like you really need somebody to like walk you through it, because if you just take it, like I'm glad your job is going to like actually like take you through it, because if you just like give somebody that, there's a lot of times it can do more harm than good.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know what we're going to be using it for, but I took the test and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder what Jordan is. So
I can't remember the DISC one. I mean, I know my Myers-Briggs one. I know my Working Genius one. I know, what else did we take? There's a couple other ones like that are super fascinating.
Nice.
I love it. I love like knowing like how I'm wired and whatnot and why I do what I do. And there's sometimes where I'm like, you know. And Bethany, so it was really funny. This was a long time ago. We had to take like a ton of them for it was a church endeavor that we were on, and I kid you not, professional psychologists like sat and looked at Bethany and I, and they were like, "How are you guys married?" Like they were dumbfounded. They're like, "This really works," and we're like, "Yeah," and they're like you actually like each other.
They're like, good on you.
Yeah, they had no clue. They were so dumbfounded. They're like, "Are you for real?"
Did they ask you for like an Instagram handle to like check to make sure like we're just following up with this guy because they're scientific?
They're like, of all the years that we've done this, like we've never seen 2 people have like the gift set that you guys have and like work well together. And
That's
we're like,
crazy.
Well, okay, we're done here.
Thank you so much. Yay. I feel great.
To this day, I'm like, every time like we have a fight or an argument, I'm like, we're beating the odds. Like, you're stuck with me. We're beating the odds. So buckle up, ladies.
I wonder what like. I feel like in the DISC assessment, I is the furthest away from D, and I feel like that's
you should have him take it. You should have him take it. You can take it online
because that's where I took it, and so I'm just like, I know that Josh is so far away from me. There are very few things that we meet in the middle.
Well, opposites attract, right? Like,
that's very true.
That's the way it goes.
Like, love Josh, love him to death. I just am like, how do opposites attract? I mean, it's a compliment. Yeah. Honestly. Like, he compliments, and his strengths are where my weaknesses are, which is great, but so frustrating when, like, in the middle of trying to do something, he is so systematically different than I am.
Yeah. It's Rocky 1. Like he says, I got gaps and Adrian got gaps and together we got no gaps.
Adrian.
So it's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Compliment. Anyway, hey, last week we got no feedback. So
we got none feedback.
So we want to hear your feedback. So if
Let us
that's a
know.
personality test, if you touched an animal.
Yeah, what's your personality test?
We would love to know your personality test. And like, do you let that define you? Your animal, would you touch an alligator? Like, how do you feel about what's going on at Cedar Point? What about fairs? Like, do you get nervous when you're at fairs? There's so many things that you can comment on.
I'll do my best.
Episode.
Last week I did not post at all.
I don't even think you posted that we had an episode out.
I very well could have not.
So like people are like, wait, what?
And I don't know. I actually think I need to put it on our website still.
You might have forgot that. Yeah. So.
I just completely left all things. So I will be back on the posting platform. Anybody who wants to volunteer to be our social media manager.
Oh, that'd be nice.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah, then you
we just
post
have
whatever
to
you want.
accept volunteers. Don't post whatever you want.
Well, yeah, that's
we
true.
love God. So
actually, my youngest, who's my youngest, my oldest. The last title is
riding alligators on a bidet.
And my daughter goes, I don't think those things go together. I'm like,
nope, no, they don't.
They don't. Like it's supposed to be funny. She's like, oh, and I'm like, oh, I failed at life. Doggone it. But there is a ton to comment on.
There is
here.
a lot to comment on.
And then what you do is you can take this information and you give it to somebody. So like maybe you did a float back in the day and you're like, hey, you remember this? Like we used to do this, and then
or tell us what your favorite float is. I mean, there's so many different things. So I'll be posting randomly throughout the week, probably more consistently, honestly, throughout the week to just follow up. If you don't follow us on social media, you can find us at Grease and Grace Pod. That's an Instagram.
Yep.
Facebook is Grease and Grace Podcast.
Yep.
And then you can send any and all responses in at greaseandgracepod@gmail.com.
Correctamundo.
But make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe us. My dad did ask how to rate us on Spotify, so I'm going to show him only how to get 5 stars.
like you just click that last button, Dad.
So make sure you rate, review, subscribe, share the podcast. We're trying to get out of just the small town. We want to kind of break that barrier.
We live here.
Yeah, but like
okay.
Break that barrier. Let's start growing a little bit, and we need your help. So
come on, people.
Make it happen, baby.
Until next time.
Okay, bye.
Soon. Okay, bye.